Good morning from the back of my truck. On our way to Florida to buy a boat, continue the boat life, and continue making boat videos all winter long. Drove 9 hours last night from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm somewhere in South Carolina right now. I have this little makeshift bed in the back seat of my F-150. I'm sitting on top of a bunch of boxes and mattress. I actually had this in my minivan when I traveled, but I just woke up, got to hop back in the driver's seat. We got 9 more hours to go, but let's get going. I really didn't think it would be this cold in South Carolina in the morning. Thought it'd be a little warmer down here. It is 46 degrees outside. Not freezing, but not Florida weather. Welcome to Florida. We're down here in Miami. I quit boating up in the Northeast, up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're gonna get into that later in this video. But first, I wanna introduce you guys to a house. Never thought I would say that. Over the last 6 years of my life, I've been living full-time in a converted school bus. Then after that, I moved over to a converted ambulance. After that, I was in a minivan, and then for the last 6 months, all summer long in Pittsburgh, I lived on a boat. I still have the boat. It's in storage in Pennsylvania, trying to sell it, so if you guys are interested, DM me or leave a comment down below. This is the first time in over 6 years I'm living in a house. It is also the first time in my entire life that I've ever had roommates, which is kind of crazy. And check out the new shirt. We finally have merch on the channel. It took forever to get it all ironed out. There was a lot of parts and pieces to move around, but it's finally done. It's available. You guys should check it out. We're gonna get into the merch. This one actually is a lot of the mean comments from my channel, which I thought were hilarious. We're gonna get into this. I'll show you guys all the merch, but let's give a little house tour and go over some mean comments and all the Q&A questions. I had a lot of questions left on a community post on my channel. So we're gonna go through Q&A, house tour, mean comments, merch. Let's get into it. All right, nice little front patio, nothing extravagant. We're gonna come into our, what should be a living room area that we have kind of turned into an office. This is a dog that we kind of inherited. This is Cliffy. What's up, Cliffy? Come here, come here. Cliffy is just kind of like a cat. You can kind of just do whatever you want. This is my friend Ellie. If you've seen some of my videos, I've been with a friend, Ellie Smart. She's a Red Bull cliff diver, and she's also living with us. But she's in Australia right now competing for Red Bull, so we're hanging out with the dog, right? This is my sister over here.
I helped make the merch.
Yeah, she actually did help a lot with the merch. She helped with this whole design. I tried paying people on Fiverr to help with designs. Awful, awful process. Would not recommend it. I tried working with a lot of different people, and then eventually I was like, why don't I ask my sister? And she came up with, well, AI came up with like the main idea, and then she went through and fine-tuned it and made it all nice and good. Welcome to what should be our living room, which is now our makeshift office, so that we can brainstorm ideas for social media. We have massive whiteboards where we brainstorm everything. We got Gunner's desk, who is filming. He's been in some videos with me as well.
Hey guys.
So Gunner and my sister, they're married. My sister's little desk, Gunner's desk. This might end up being Ellie's desk if she ever comes back. We've been in the house for a while now, and she's stayed here one day because she's just always on trips for diving and whatnot. My desk kind of ends up being the kitchen here. I just have all my stuff propped along the kitchen, and as you can see, all I do every single day, all day, is search on Facebook Marketplace for a boat because I need a boat down here ASAP. I actually almost had one yesterday. I was this close, almost. Check it out. We got the black version of the shirt that I'm wearing. So just a big boat anchor with a ton of mean comments, some of the best ones that I thought were hilarious that wanted to showcase them. Instead of being sad and letting them frustrate me, I thought it was a lot more funny to make them into a shirt, because then people see the shirt, they can get up close and read the funny comments. They're supposed to be mean comments, but I think they're funny. So we got the black one, we got the dark charcoal one. This one I feel like would be better with the white anchor design, so. And then we have a more simple design, just with a vector line drawing of the boat that I still have right now, that I've been living on all summer. Got my e-bike on the front of the boat right there. Just simple boat life, if you want a nice, simpler design. And then we also have the hoodies. It's got the boat life on the front with the design, as well as all the mean comments on the back. And one more option as well. But there's all kinds of colors and options. The link is down in the description below if you guys wanna grab some merch. It's an amazing way to support the channel, but also just leaving a like and a comment helps me out in the best way. But if you do wanna support the channel a little bit more, merch is one of the best ways to do so. So I would appreciate if you guys grab yourself a shirt, grab yourself anything, I don't know. I think they're hilarious shirts. I love it. I'm gonna wear this all the time now, except white shirts usually only last a day with me. We'll see. But let's go over to my room. Not much to show. It's a very small room. It's a mess. Basically, the whole room is a bed, but I spend almost no time ever in, I spend like 5 hours a night here to sleep. The rest of my time I'm out and about doing things, so I didn't really care much about a bed. But got the first bathroom over here, full bathroom with a shower. This one is a spare room. So this one just has a little single bed, also has another single bed that pulls out underneath. So if any of you guys want to come stay, we got extra space for you. We also have another kind of extra room. My mom uses this room because she's retired now, and if she comes down to visit, she has a kind of dedicated room that she can hang out in, but I don't know how often she'll be coming down. We're not too sure. Let's move over to the kitchen. I got a printout of some of the questions that you guys left on my channel, as well as a lot of the mean comments that I wasn't able to fit onto the shirt. I wish I could have put them all, but there was way too many. I don't know if I should be proud of that or not, but we got biggest kitchen I think I've ever had in my life. This is amazing. This is awesome. I'm really enjoying having like a big space to cook in and all of my stuff under one roof instead of always looking for a place to park. It's kind of a nice break from the typical living in a boat and living in a van and all that stuff that I've done for 6 years. Over here we have the dining room. Doesn't really get a lot of use for me. I eat standing up at the kitchen because I'm weird, but Gunnar and my sister, they eat here. Ellie, if she ever shows up here, maybe she'll eat there, I don't know. All right, moving down into the real living room. We tried to keep this one nice and homey feeling so that way the front living room is more like business and social media and nothing but like work focused. And over here is whenever we're done doing social media things and we can actually hang out and enjoy time. And I haven't actually sat and watched stuff on TV forever, so it's kind of a nice change, even though I somehow still don't have any time. I've been spending all of my time driving all over Southern Florida looking at boats. I think I've looked at 8 or 9 of them at this point, and there's always issues. There's a lot of shady people on Facebook Marketplace selling boats down here, and I'm just sifting through all the problems. It's a pain, I hate it, but I'm gonna get one soon. Let's go over to Gunnar and Danielle's room. They got the biggest room in the house. Got the huge king size bed, another private bathroom. Laundry's going, so it's loud. But pretty solid bathroom, if you ask me. I don't know, they get the master suite, rightfully so. But let's move over into Ellie's room. She has not been here since all of her stuff got moved in. Gunnar, my sister, and myself, we moved everything in for her from her other house she was living in. And like I said, she stayed here one night and now she's in Australia. And then as she comes back from Australia, leaves for another trip. So she hasn't even seen this yet. Like she saw this room when it was empty, when she stayed one night, but she hasn't seen it since all of her stuff has been here. It's kind of crazy. She's always on the go. So 5-bedroom house, we're kind of using 2 of the bedrooms because no one's ever here except for us. But let's go out to the backyard and we'll get into some of the questions that you guys dropped on the channel.
Look at him, just doing boat deals.
I'm texting a boat mechanic and I'm texting another guy that wants me to go buy his boat today, but he's driving me crazy. He like won't let me do proper tests on the motor, which is huge red flags, but it's a really, really good deal. I don't know, maybe you'll see another boat. Maybe you'll see a new boat in the next video and it might be this one that I'm texting the guy. I don't know. Welcome to the backyard, my favorite part of the house. The entire backyard is turfed. I love this so much. We have little storage sheds over here that we keep all of our electric bikes in and whatnot. 3 e-bikes in here to cruise around since it's just gorgeous weather down here all the time. I don't know how I lived in the Northeast for so long. Southern Florida, I mean, maybe the summers are bad, but winter right now is great. All right, let's go through a couple questions while we head back. Nadine Winkleman 205 asked, what was my job before I started YouTube? And I used to install commercial camera systems, security systems, access control with a friend of mine's company. They started a really small company, worked for them for maybe 6 years, and I was working full time. So Monday through Friday, like 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. or something like that. I loved working with them because they were my friends, but I hated the work so much. And I just knew that I needed to do something to get away from that, whether it meant making less money. I tell everyone this, I would take a $20,000 a year job over a $300,000 a year job if it meant that I had no time constraints and could go do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I think everyone should be the same. I personally would not take a cubicle job if it paid me $500,000 a year. There's no way, couldn't do it. I will stay making much less money and have free time. Used to be a commercial camera installer. That was my job, nothing crazy. And before that, I worked 7 or 8 years as a server at a Chinese restaurant, Mexican restaurant, and just like a regular bar. But that was my work career. Evelyn Lobos, 1354. Will your girlfriend from your cave days ever join you on board your new boat for an adventure? I'm assuming you mean Crystal. If any of you guys have watched all the cave videos, Crystal used to explore all the caves with me. We haven't been together for years now, but we're still both on good terms. I think if I invited her out, she'd probably come out and join for some adventures. We just haven't really spoken much. We talk like maybe every couple months, just like very quick, short conversations, but it's not out of the cards. I don't know where she is in the world. She travels more than I do, so who knows, maybe she will. Fairfax Vickers 2714. What kind of music do you like? I listen to basically every single thing except for screaming death music. I listen to Spanish music, old folk Western music, country music, rap music, everything except for like screamo stuff, basically. Favorite band? Don't have one. Favorite movie? First one that comes to my mind is The Dark Knight or Wolf of Wall Street. I could watch those a million times, and I have. Midsummer is a disturbing movie that everyone should watch at least one time just to have their mind blown. I would never call it my favorite movie, but it blew my mind, I'll give it that. Douglas Van Nuys, I believe is the name. Curious after your recent Florida trip what your winter plans are now. Did that alter your plans at all? Very excited to follow along for your winter videos as I'm forced to haul out and winterize the first week of November. Yes, that trip changed everything for me. I literally came down because Gunnar, my sister, and Ellie FaceTimed me, and it was, I think it was a Friday, and this was like noon on a Friday. They called me and they were like, hey, we're doing some crazy stuff in Florida. Why don't you just fly down? And I was like, no. And the weather was bad in Pennsylvania at the time. I looked up flights, $99. I could leave in a couple hours, so I came down here. Had no flight home. I just kind of got to hang out with them, explore the boat life. I booked a flight home as fast as I could to get my boat put in storage and winterized so that I could come right back down here, because that trip literally made me convinced I need to come to Florida and spend all winter down here continuing the boat life. And one of the things I didn't like about back home in Pennsylvania was I could only explore so much of the river. Like I obviously could go 2,000 miles down the river all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, but my boat was not really geared towards long distance traveling and going through all the locks. There's like 20, 30 locks and dams you have to go through. It just kind of makes it not as enjoyable. There's not as much to explore as I would like. And I definitely didn't want to wait until springtime to be exploring again. So down here, I've always wanted to learn ocean boating, the intercoastal waterway or intracoastal waterway. I don't even know the proper terminology, but there is endless stuff to explore down here, and I've always wanted to do it, so that trip to Florida changed everything for me. Over here, Gunnar and I picked up this pull-up bar so we can actually start working out. It's been really nice being able to have a consistent workout schedule, and like I don't have to go to a gym. We do everything we need back here. Right here, we got the pool. I didn't think I would use it as much as we did. Like I saw it on the listing for this place. The place was fully furnished when we rented it. We also just do short month-to-month leases, by the way. But the pool has been incredible, just as the hot tub has been amazing. I thought a hot tub would kind of be ridiculous in Florida because I'm not a Florida traveler. But at nighttime here in the winter, it gets like a little nice and cool, and just hanging out in the hot tub has been incredible. Every night we do it. We got all this space for activities over here. I'll have to insert a nighttime clip of back here because the owners of the place are obsessed with lighting, and so am I. So they have all these colored lights that light up all these trees. I don't know what these are called, but all these things. They light them up all crazy. There's lights everywhere, and the backyard just kind of looks a little crazy at nighttime. I absolutely love it. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. This is an avocado tree. This is the first time I've been reminded that this is an avocado tree. I forgot I need to come pick some of these. Chelsea Godfrey, 1368. What made you decide to pursue being a content creator? I'll try to make the story super fast. Back when I was working full-time a long time ago, I took a trip out to California with people that I met through Instagram, and I was living out of a hammock in a small backpack, traveling around out of some guy's car that I didn't even really know that well on a 10-day cliff jumping trip. After the trip, I had to go back home to continue working because I could only get so much time off work. and I watched everyone that I had just met out in California. Like, they didn't have a lot of money. They were all living out of their cars, vans, buses. They were not living extravagant lives, but they were able to travel freely wherever they wanted to go. So I'm back working every day, and I had a house, a car, I was doing okay financially. Most of them didn't even have jobs out in California that I was hanging out with. They would just save up, work a bunch, and then they would go travel for months and months at a time. So watching them exploring waterfall and mountains and everything on like a Wednesday when I'm back at work, I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I make less money. I'm gonna quit my job, sell my house, sell my car, and I'm gonna go travel until I run out of money. So when I did that, I started just making content full time, not really thinking that I was gonna start making money, but I had one full year where I just traveled. I was spending on average $1,100 a month, not being very frugal. That was traveling all over the country in my school bus. So I was spending just around $1,000, $1,100 a month. And I realized this is so much cheaper than I ever thought it could be. And then in the meantime, since I was doing nothing but making content, brands started reaching out to me, and that's how everything slowly started building from there. And then that's when I started filming with TFIL, and just that boosted my following a bunch. Then quit filming with them. And once I started doing my own stuff, I had a few viral clips that took my Instagram and everything to a much higher level, and that leads me to where I'm at now. But it just took a leap of faith and started traveling in a school bus. Never thought I was gonna be a content creator. It just kind of slowly happened over time, and as it could to any of you guys. So take that as inspiration, motivation, whatever you need, because I never thought it would happen, and I just went for it, took a risk. No risk, no reward. This is where all of our storage is. None of it's ours, I guess it's the owner's storage, but it leads to somewhere special. And you're gonna find out here in a second. All right, we're gonna start climbing, but you should still be able to hear me. So, another question is, can I do a fishing video, please? And I haven't gone fishing since I was a child. That's what originally got me into cliff diving, is going fishing with my dad. Ugh. So now that I'm down here, I'm in like the mecca of fishing, and I figured I probably should have my dad come down, bring it full circle to what started me cliff diving, and now we can go fishing together down here. So it's probably gonna happen. Welcome to the roof of our house. I feel like it's pretty obvious that we were gonna end up here very shortly after moving in, especially with the close proximity to the pool. Yeah. XYO20 says, why'd you choose a cruiser boat instead of a more well-known brand? Cruisers Yachts is well-known, just not as well-known as like Sea Ray or any of those bigger ones. And the reason that I chose the Cruisers Yachts 300 CXI specifically, the boat that I was living in Pennsylvania for the last 30 videos, was I personally think it had the greatest layout of any boat in its size. I've had numerous friends that have way bigger boats that have looked at mine inside and think that mine somehow has more space than theirs, which I agree. I think it has the greatest layout. I don't know, once I saw it, I was in love with it, and that's what I had to have. Would have been nice to have a more well-known brand, because then it's easier to find issues and stuff online through forums, but Cruisers Yachts, still a solid brand. Chasing the Voyage asked, do you want to buy a boat that you can live on but also travel internationally like the Caribbean and other places? 1,000,000% yes. It's just with as much money as I have tied up in my Cruisers Yachts back in Pennsylvania, I can't really afford a big boat that can make those types of travels. So that's why right now I'm searching for a smaller walk around, like fishing boat, like a sport fishing boat or something like that, just with maybe like a single outboard or twin outboard motors. Mainly just to learn how to boat down here, because it's very common to run aground all over Florida and run into issues, and I really don't want to be learning all of this stuff in a massive boat. I think the much smarter route is to get a smaller boat, learn everything I possibly can down here, and then once I'm comfortable with the intercoastal waterway and the ocean, then I can upgrade to a bigger boat and make a lot smarter of a decision and go from there. But I'd love to have a huge boat with a little dinghy on the roof. I'm kind of looking into the trawlers. If you guys saw a couple videos ago when we interviewed Butch in St. Petersburg, Florida, I would love to have a boat like that where I can cruise around, live in it, have every single thing I need. It can handle big water. So yes, eventually I do want to do that. Cranberry 9035 says, do you play any video games in your downtime? And the answer to that one is kind of simple. So do I play video games in my downtime? And the answer, absolutely not. I definitely don't play any video games. I didn't really play, I haven't really played video games much since I was young, like since I was a kid. I feel like I don't have downtime, and anytime I do have downtime, I end up finding something to fill it, like going out riding the e-bike or going, I don't know, I honestly somehow managed to have no downtime. I've watched maybe one movie in the last, I don't even know the last time I've seen a movie. Other than being on an airplane watching a movie, I could not tell you the last time I sat down and watched a movie. I never really have downtime, to be honest with you. Like right now we're filming this video. As soon as this video is over, I have to leave and drive an hour to go look at a boat. And then after, that's probably gonna take the rest of my day. By the time I come home, it's just gonna be like time to go to bed, wake up the next day and start again. So downtime really doesn't exist for me.
Quits cubicle job to have more free time and then doesn't use any free time for free time things.
Rapid fire, couple questions real quick. My breathless dreams. When will you find love? You tell me. I have no idea. It hasn't been going great so far, to be honest. Who knows when that'll happen? Maybe someday. Nadine Winkelman 205. Do you have relatives in Germany? Your last name sounds German. I don't think so. I honestly don't. I'm not even sure. I'm kind of a mutt. I'm mixed all over the place. Very slight bit of Ukrainian, a little bit of Slovakian, but I don't know about Germany. I'm not too sure. Mike Brock 9035. Is Sarah okay? Yes, I talked to her recently. She's just focusing on things in her life other than social media. So she's taking a long break, or maybe an indefinite break from social media, but she's great. I talked to her. She seems happy, and that's all that matters. Last question. Where do you see yourself in 6 to 7 years? That's from Sassafras Gasoline. That's a great username. Where do I want to end up in 6 to 7 years? Honestly, I barely know what I'm doing tomorrow, so 6 to 7 years, I don't really have the slightest care in the world about. I couldn't tell you what I'm doing next week. Next week I could be in another country, or I could be in another state. Who knows? My plan is to keep making boat videos here in Southern Florida. As far as 6 to 7 years, where do I want to be? I don't know, maybe somewhere within a 1 hour drive of a major city, but have a huge barn dominium if I somehow become rich, and then just have a bunch of toys and be able to have friends over and maybe fly out some subscribers that can come out and like ride my ATVs, ride my dirt bikes, go on a boat. I don't know. I'd love to have like my own big compound someday. So maybe that's where I want to end up. Enough of the backyard. Let's head out to manifest where my future boat's gonna be. We picked this place specifically because it had a ton of parking. So we literally have all this space, and then we have space for both of our trucks and one more vehicle once Ellie brings hers. So lots of parking, and also there's a lot of street parking here too. So in the next video, if you guys don't see a boat in this spot, give me a bunch of shit in the comments. And speaking of shit in the comments, let me rattle off a bunch of mean comments that I thought were hilarious from all of my boat videos, because it's all on my merch. I'm not gonna say who commented these, but I'm gonna read them all off. They're pretty funny. All I hear is a bunch of crying about your piece of shit boat. A houseboat sucks just as much ass as a van. Stop glorifying van life for clicks, people. Dude, that's a little boat, LOL. Guess you've never lived in Florida. Well, guess what? I do live in Florida now, and yes, there are mega yachts everywhere, and I can't afford that, and I'm sure whoever left that comment can't afford them either. Must be nice to be spoiled. I've never been spoiled in my entire life. I bought my very first car for $2 grand, but my parents have never given me money. I guess I'm spoiled in a way that my parents really support what I do, and they do love to help me out. Like, say they lived down here and I bought this boat that I want to buy, and it's super dirty and stuff. They really love to help me, so they would love to be out here cleaning the boat, helping me fix things on the motor. Like, in that way, I guess I will admit that I'm spoiled, but financially, never been spoiled in my life. Even if I was super rich, I would never spoil my future children. I don't know if I'll have them, but if I did, I would never spoil people, ever. Never, never, never. You chose a terrible boat as a liveaboard. Living in an express cruiser is like living in a clam. Inboard, outboard suck too, you'll learn. Okay. I loved living in that thing. I thought it was great, and I do think inboard outboards are great when you're in fresh water. Maybe not down here, but I didn't have it down here, so. I love these, quote, van life guys that start a video off by walking out of a house into a driveway with 4 cars, get into the car, and they say, oh, so you know my van got wrecked into by my friend while I had flown to another state. The wreck was at my house. That couldn't be any more false. Yeah, since my boat was near my parents' house and I haven't really spent any time with them over the last 6 years of traveling, sometimes I stayed with them for maybe a week while I was at home searching for a boat to live in. So there was like a week-long period where I was staying at my parents' house. So yeah, some of the videos started with me walking out of my parents' house into my rental car that I had because a friend of mine crashed into my minivan and it was at the shop getting repaired, at least under her insurance, so I didn't have to pay for anything. But yeah, I had like a 2024 rental car, so maybe that made it look like I was like rich or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely not faking anything in my life. I'm very clear-cut and honest and open with you guys about everything. You kids today are so funny. Let's prioritize the stereo system. I mean, absolutely. You can't have a boat without a nice sound system. Bro is 55 plus. Why is he doing this? Doesn't he have a family? I get it. I got some gray hairs. I don't look as young as I used to, but 55 plus? Like, I don't think I look 50. I will say I look a lot older, but than I used to, because that's how the world works, but I don't think I look 55. And no, I don't have a family. I have like parents and a sister and a brother, but I don't have kids because I'm not 55. Does this guy know anything about boating? How else am I supposed to learn, my dude? I gotta learn somehow, you know? I just dove into it and I had to learn everything as I went. I didn't really have anyone to teach me. So that's so pathetic, buying a boat and not being able to afford actually going anywhere. I never said I couldn't afford it, but you bet your ass I'm gonna complain about it when I gotta pay $6 a gallon for a 125 gallon gas tank and I'm getting 1 mile to the like 1 mile per gallon. Like, yes, I will complain about that all day long, but it doesn't mean I can't afford it, you know? It's like camping, but with the drowning. I thought that one was kind of funny. I don't think that was necessarily a mean comment, but I liked that one. That's not a houseboat at all. That's not a houseboat. That's not a houseboat, not a houseboat, not a houseboat. That's not a houseboat. Well, it's not a houseboat. That's not a houseboat, you landlubber. That's a rather sporty motor yacht. Houseboats are more like houses on floats and hardly ever move. That's a cabin cruiser, not a houseboat. That's all caps, not a houseboat though. However, it is a boat that you can live on. Houseboat or cabin cruiser? You know that's not a houseboat. It's a completely different thing. Please, it's a cruiser, not a houseboat. So wrong that you call it a houseboat. You should search what a houseboat is. That's not a houseboat, that's not a houseboat, that's not a houseboat. It's called a cabin cruiser, not a houseboat. Every single one of you guys that left those comments, 100% correct. It is not a houseboat. I explained this in a previous video, but as far as YouTube goes and the general public, a lot of people don't know the term express cruiser or cabin cruiser, and I really wanted it to be viewable from every single person. I knew people were gonna give me hate for calling it a houseboat because it is not a houseboat, but it is a boat and it is my house. So technically, to me, it's a houseboat. But my editor and I decided to use the term houseboat because if we use the word cabin cruiser or express cruiser, it just seems like not as many people would understand what that is. If you just see the title, like living on a cabin cruiser, like living on a houseboat, it just hits a lot better. I knew I would get hate for it, but I really just wanted to appeal to a broader audience. If you hate me for that, but it is what it is. But again, you guys are all correct. I am wrong in calling it a houseboat, and just know, I'm never afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I'll always admit it, so you gotta at least give me that. So I'll leave it there. Let's admire the big empty spot that should be a boat. Stay tuned for that next video. Hopefully I have one then. I really freaking hope so. So subscribe to the channel and watch for more videos because we're gonna be learning how to boat down here all together. People in the comments asking if I knew anything about boating at all, and that was only in the rivers of Pennsylvania. Imagine how much I don't know about boating in the intercoastal waterway and the ocean. So we got a lot to learn. Follow the journey, learn with me because it's gonna be a steep learning curve. I'm probably gonna make some people mad out on the water, but I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm trying to study a little bit online, so I'm not a complete noob about it. And definitely check out all the merch. I'm super excited about this merch. And if you guys pick up some, you can read all the mean comments yourself, and it's the best way to support my channel. Other than leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing to my channel, that pushes me out into the algorithm. But any profit at all that comes from my merch goes directly back into my YouTube channel to keep making these videos for you guys. I appreciate you guys in advance. If you do grab any, drop a comment down below and let me know what you picked up. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, shoot me a DM with a photo of the shirt or something after you guys get it. I'll try my best to respond to everybody. But thank you guys, and I will catch you for the next video. I gotta go boat hunting. Peace.
Wow. Whoa.
Did it! Got a freaking boat, let's go.